What up? What up? What up? Oh, we are live today. Odds.com. Thank y'all for pulling up to have a great time with us today. Gave out some winners last week and gonna give out some more winners this week. So please hit the like button now so you ain't got to worry about doing it later. Get a pen, a pad, whatever you need. Sit down with us. We about to go through this college football card the right way. How you feeling today, Big Ragoo?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm traveling today. I got I'm up here for a wedding tomorrow. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida. You know, St. Augustine is the oldest city in the United States, 1565. There's some old folks hanging around this joint. And, of course, the Fountain of Youth fame, Ponce de Leon, 1513. But anyways, it's a real historic town. We're going to write some history today with some of our picks, hopefully. Get some winners, and then, we'll move on. And then what we're going to do today, DJ is going to work the chat because we noticed we're missing one member, Conor. Conor's on my right side. Welcome in, Conor. Of course, Conor is a veteran at the Odds Squad right now. So we're going to break games down. But Babano's not here this week. He'll be back Wednesday. So we're going to keep things moving. I'm gonna take the scope of the games and run the board down. DJ's going to work the chat. Conor's going to give his excellent picks, but I got a surprise guest I'm bringing in today because of Ian's. We're not going to shortchange you guys. It's a guy that I did the Derby podcast with. He invited me on. So we're going to bring in right now Undercover Greg. So welcome, Undercover Greg, to the show.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you having me.
Hey, Greg. So where you at right now, buddy? Where you from?
Yeah, so I'm in the rural northern Minnesota land where it is. We were just talking before we hopped on about the differences in temperature. We're already getting ready for winter out here. So,
all right.
But no, it's good to be on. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, good deal. We're going to kick in bring you on the show, and we're going to introduce you to the Odds family. So thanks for coming aboard with us today. We look forward to getting your information.
My pleasure.
So DJ, right. let's kick it off with the early games. So we're going to go early games, mid games, and late games. This way we kind of cover as much as we can. So let's look at this Syracuse North Carolina game. A lot of hype on the North Carolina team. Probably the second best quarterback in the country, they're saying, is on the North Carolina squad, Sam Howell. And we're talking about Coach of the Year honors for Mac Brown also already. So there's a lot of hype around this team. But, man, 20 opened up at like 19.5 up to 23.5, 65.5 is the total. What are you looking at on this game? Do you have any looks on this game, DJ?
This game is a total pass for me. Too much hype around North Carolina and what Mac Brown got going on there. You know, I got to see some proof in the pudding before I put my feet in the water. You know what I mean, Big Ragoo? So, not a game that I particularly want to be on in this little spot right here. And then Syracuse, I mean, a dog can only go so far down before he changes around and comes back up. Now, these guys had a horrible year last year. They missed the mark in Syracuse offensively, defensively. So I'm sure they had a lot to work on. Now, being the times we in right now, maybe they didn't have enough time to work on it. So I don't know where they at right there, but it's a pass for me. I can't even come into a total or nothing on that game. Just a one I want to watch, take notes, so I could apply that going further down the season. Because North Carolina last year they were fueled up early on. They got some really good. They got some close losses. They rose to the occasion on a few times. So it's difficult to keep that kind of momentum going, but with a guy like Mac Brown, is definitely possible. So I'm gonna just watch on that one. How about you, Conor?
I like Syracuse a little bit, a lean on it. It's got up to 24. I didn't play, but it's just a lean I'd give out there. It's getting high there. Points are rolling up. What was it at Wednesday, guys? 22.5, 23?
Yeah, opened up at 19.5, 23 points. Now it's crept up, like you said, to 24. So
it is creeped. So that'd be my lean. And then there's a little lean on the over, but like you said, I gotta watch on. Yeah, I don't want to play any overplays right now in college football with everything going on. I really want to watch this week, maybe even next week. Really, not that I'm not making any bets, but that's my lean. Syracuse, the points would be my small lean. I love Mac Brown. I love Howell. He's great QB. I think they got great things in order, but that'd be my small lean, but just to take those points, gobble them up.
All right, Greg, this is your first opportunity to to give us some information. So what do you got going
All
on?
right. Well, I'm going to be that guy. I like the North Carolina side. I think the money's going the right way here. 87% of the starting offense is back for North Carolina. You guys talked about Sam Howell. A couple dynamic playmakers on the outside for them too, Diami Brown and Daz Newsome. So I think they can get points on the board quickly here. And it's a Syracuse team that could not rush the passer last year. They had a change at defensive coordinator. We all know about continuity and how important that is at any level in any sport in these COVID times we're living in. And I'm kind of buying the narrative a little bit on North Carolina. I think I kind of like to look at these narratives for week one, and whether it's or the first game in football at college level or the NFL, because you have all offseason to kind of stew on them, and they're. I think the Tar Heels want to come out and make a statement in an ACC that's been pretty open after Clemson, and we saw them go toe-to-toe last year with Clemson. So I think they come out and make a statement here and win this game by 30 plus.
Yeah, well, I think part of the reason you've seen that huge number is what you're talking about with the continuity and what North Carolina has going, and also that Syracuse has only four returning starters and a brand new defensive coordinator, so they're going to be up against it. We'll see how that plays out. So we have a play on with you, Greg, and then we have
North Carolina minus the points is a play for me.
Okay, all right. So we'll move on to the other 12 o'clock game. It's UNC Charlotte taking at App State. So we know what App State's all about. This is a team I like a lot. Every year this team shows up. They put their offense on the field. They have the Zack Attack offense rolling. They've had a couple head coaches, and it's just a culture there. They fit that mold against these mid-conference teams. They play up, they play strong, and this is a strong lean I have. Even though the line has dropped down from 20.5 down to 17, I still think this team could outperform NC Charlotte. Now NC Charlotte's lost LeMay, and they got the kid Harbison from Northern Illinois transfer running back. So there are a competitive team there, mid-tier team in the conference, but I think that they match up well here I think it's a good matchup for App State. I'm going to lean App State minus the touchdown and the 2 touchdowns and the field goal. We'll kick it over to Conor first this time. What do you think, Conor?
Same with you. I lean App State. I the minus 17, and both these two games we touched on were two that I would lean over, because other than that, I really don't like any overs. I could see an over here. App State can score it, but those be my two leans. I like the minus points for App State and a little bit lean on that over 59.
How about you, Greg?
Yeah, I would lean App State as well. Not a ton on this game, but I would say a lot of the things you mentioned, Ragoo, about App State just being a program that has a high culture and buttoned up, kind of ready to play. I mentioned I'm living in Minnesota now, but you guys know I'm from the East Coast and grew up in South Jersey, went to Temple. And so that was always – I was there when Matt Rule was the coach, so I was kind of keeping an eye on some of these other Group of 5 programs, trying to get that automatic qualifier to the New Year's Six. And at the time, it was Western Michigan, and then App State really started coming on as well with Scott Satterfield. And I think we've really seen that culture kind of reign supreme. They've stayed to be pretty good since he's moved on as well. So, again, speaking of just continuity and culture, I would lean that way, but not a play.
Okay.
Nice.
What about you, boss?
Well, before I go into this one, let's give a quick shout out to our chat, man.
Absolutely.
We got Ron Laughlin, Dutch Boy Fresh, West Coast is in the house. How you been? It's been a long time, my brother. Drapes, Hustle Wilson, Razor Sharp Picks. A lot of low baggers around here. Robert Allen. We got Tony Boucher, Alex Ramirez, Paco Healy. If I missed you, it's all good. We're going to keep things going. But just had to give a little shout out to our chat right there. Yeah. I'm on App State with y'all totally on this one. 9 returning starters on the offensive side of the ball. That's what leads me over here. So I kind of slept on this one for a long time. It came out at like 20 and it dropped down. I got it at 17. And I was kind of iffy for a minute, when I woke up this morning, just backtrack. I mean, the bet's already in, not much I could do. But this Charlotte team over here, I was trying to figure out, where was this money coming from? So this is a kind of an in-state rivalry right here, the same area right here. So this team came close before to putting the pressure on App State a little bit. But if you go a little further down into the records of this matchup right here, the local thing, App State has smashed these guys in the past. They may have just got lucky. I don't know if the wheels are really turning for the Charlotte 49ers or I don't know what's really going on right there, but I see this App State team as a team that's, they have this coach right here. They trying to support him. It's a really talented group right here. And, 17 points at App State, that's not a lot. These guys, they're accustomed to blowing teams out at home if they have to. So they're not afraid of putting up the points. So I'm rolling with App State all the way. But what's next?
Well, let me bring up one key point on the number. I mean, what are we looking at the total right now in this game? It's 60? That's a pretty decent number. But normally App plays talking about, and then the thing that a little come back on that spread is because Charlotte lives, they're like a 22 point, like 5 out of 13 games last year is less than 22 points given up, and we know App likes to run it up with their high-powered offense. So here's a couple little stats here. So the under for the 49ers, 4 out of the last 5 to the unders for them, and then App State, I think they're like 10-5 in the last 15. But the over has cashed in the last 7 for the Mountaineers in September. That's a little stat for you, but. So we got a couple leans on that game, mostly leans for App State, and that's it on that one. So we're going to look at the next game. We're going to look at is I think I'll start out with you, DJ, on this one because we're looking at and it's an early start. We got Arkansas State at K-State. I'm not a big fan of these early starts, especially for a team that's going to be out in the Mountain Time playing at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, and then you got a little bit of travel there. Not much travel. You got some travel for Ark State, but we know you got a pretty high-powered offense in Arkansas State with what they got going on over there. And I'm going to lean back to you on this one first, DJ. What do you like on? I know you had a play in this game, so I'll start off with you.
Yeah, so I flipped the pages over, capping this one out right here. Arkansas State. 7th-year coach Blake Anderson in this one. So, he got a lot of experience behind him, but he's going up against a talented guy in Chris Kilman. 2nd year at this program right here, but the guy smashed it last year. So this year, I'm looking at Arkansas State offense. Of course, they get an A. They got five linemen returning right there. That's just a wonderful thing in anybody's sport. But 5 linemen returning on offense. The offense should be decent enough to put points on the board. But I do have their defense at a C. I rated them at a C. They got 4 returning on defense. As we've seen in the SMU game, the defense played pretty good, but some of those turnovers and stuff was, all SMU, first week little flukies and stuff. But Arkansas State, I believe, can put points on the board for sure in this matchup against K-State. Now, K-State, I give their offense a B, and I gave their defense a B as well. They're allowing 200 yards in the air, 165 on the ground. Against a team with a good rushing with a good line, they should be able to move the ball on the ground, which should open up the pass for Arkansas State. So, defensive-wise, I believe both of them are going to be bleeding a little bit. But offensive-wise, Kansas State is doing pretty well. They got the returning quarterback in there. They got the O-lines getting it together, and the running back kind of exhausted after 2019. But this guy, he recruits well. So I believe he'll replace it with some talent. And then, wide receiver, he got a lot of targets to throw the ball to. So initially I wanted to go Kansas State because I think I think they're a class better than Arkansas State. But initially I wanted to go there. But after I looked at it real good, my best spot in this game right here is the over. I think this game probably should have been set at like 60. And I believe I got a 54.5.
Yeah, that's what it's sitting at.
Yeah, I got 54.5. So I'm expecting some points to fly here, and good spot on a Saturday. Where is this one coming on at? Is this one coming on national televised? Yeah, FS1. So
12,
They're expecting to get some people to take a look at them. So I expect them to go out there and try to put some points up. So I'm heavy on the over in this one.
How about you, Greg? You got to look on this game?
I think I don't have a play on this game, but I think there's a good point that DJ made about the nationally televised stuff. When you think about it, remember, these are college kids. They may never get – some of them might not get an opportunity to play on a national stage again. So when you get the chance to do that, maybe you got some tricks up your sleeve, some trick plays or things that could result in quick scores. So I think that's something to consider when handicapping college football.
All right, Conor.
I agree. I like your look a little bit on that look on the over, boss. Arkansas State played well last week against Memphis, covered, and it went under. But like I said, last year, towards the end of the year, they couldn't stop anybody. Arkansas State, they couldn't stop anybody. I'm passing because I love Kansas State as a dog. All those years with Snyder. I know it's only 10, but it's a pass for me because it's still technically double digits. So, but it's a pass for me. But a good game and good look. K-State was good last year, and I cashed a few times with them. Like I said, always a good dog, I think, especially against some of those teams. So, yeah. But I'm passing.
A lot of history with K-State, and don't forget Kleiman of North Dakota State fame. He's kind of come in there and kind of built that culture and kind of just he had athletes when he came in there because Snyder was a heck of a recruiter. So let's not forget that. And then, early on, I guess when they put the number out on this game, I'm going to say that it opened up at 58.5 and immediately shot down to 54.5. And we've seen some 53s in some spots, but now it's kind of went back the other way. So there was some sharp money coming in on the under originally, but DJ, it's kind of leveled itself out. Now it's going back the other way. I'm seeing some 55s in some spots. So for me, I would it's a pass for me, but I would lean K-State at home. Even though we do have a high power offense the other way, I think they're kind of tighten the reins up on this team a little bit here. But, it's a pretty decent it's not a big number, but that number's kind of crept up too. Opened up at 10. Now it's moving up pretty sharply the other way. So we'll see how that plays out in that regard. So, nice. Okay, now that we got the early ones out of the way, we're going to go to the mid-pack games, and we're going to start out with another one of DJ's favorite teams.
Oh, Ragoo, if you don't mind, I got one other play on the. I think
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What you got?
Louisiana, Lafayette, Iowa State. Is that
all right? Break it down for us.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I like the game under the total, 56.5. Iowa State has a lot of players back on defense, and they were really good defending the run last year, and that's kind of the bread and butter for the Raging Cajuns. They like to pound the rock. Trey Ragus and Elijah Mitchell, they're kind of 1-2 punch in the backfield. So I think that it's a strength versus strength matchup there, and I kind of lean towards the Power 5 defense doing a better job against a Group of 5 offense. And then their defense for the Raging Cajuns returns all 5 starters in their secondary. They actually ranked 11th in the nation last year in passing touchdowns allowed. So I think that would lend itself towards Iowa State taking a run-heavy approach themselves, which probably leads to longer possessions for the Cyclones, which also just makes me like that game under 56.5. I got it at.
Hey, I got to kick myself in the balls on this one too, because here I am telling you, we're going to cover the early games, and early on the Wednesday show, I put this team on upset alert, Louisiana Lafayette, to maybe take out Iowa State. So I'm going to go with you too, because I think they're going to play a defensive game in this game. So I like that look that you're giving out, and I'm going to go on a limb, and that's going to be my money line dog play today is Louisiana Tech or Louisiana Raging Cajuns at Iowa State. Iowa State plays in some close games. We all know Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, and the head coach over there does a real nice job, Matt Campbell. So, but I'm going to put him up on the upset alert because I like this team a lot. So we'll move on. Now we'll move on.
Wait, teacher. I want to jump on that train too, man. You know me from last year. I like third-year coaches. They got a chance to get some of their recruits in there, implement their system. In this one right here, I got the offense rated at an A+, and the defense rated as an A as well. So this definitely qualifies for upset alert. maybe not on the money line, maybe just a sprinkle, but definitely back in the Cajuns as well. And I like what Greg's saying too, as far as the under and Iowa State, because Iowa State, we know for the past couple of years, their strength has been in their defense, not in their offense. So we can't expect it to field and put up major points against this team that, like you said, is a ground and pound team. That runs the ball a lot. So I really like your look right there, Greg. I'm gonna try to put that in right now.
All right.
A lot of people in the chat like it too. I'm paying attention to the chat right now. So a lot of people like that. They like that other side. Well, not the other side, but they like the dog in this play, and they like the under. So I think we got a good spot right there.
That was my first bet in the morning. I took the 13.5. I wish it was 14, but I like the dog as well. I didn't do money line, sprinkle it, but definitely took those 13.5.
All right, so Conor's on it too. So it looks like we got a majority play here on that game. All right, without further ado, let's talk about this 2:30 start. Duke at Notre Dame, and we got to kick it back off to you, DJ. One more.
Oh man, we talked about this early in the week. I tossed and turned on it a few times. Reached out to a couple of my mentors and had a few chats about it. I really got to stay off. I'm going to watch the game. I'm in Vegas. I really got to make a play. But so I'm caught in between right here, man. It's very, very difficult for me to make it to the window and lay 20 with Notre Dame at home just because they play out of pride, like I explained. And Kelly's going to put some of his young talent out the field. He wants to see what they can do. As soon as they get a lead or something like that, that's what he will do. So it's difficult laying the 20 right here. But after speaking with a few people and watching a few things that I've seen on TV about Book this year, Kelly's speaking highly of Book. Book speaking highly of himself. He's saying that there's no reason to play unless we get a championship. He has an opportunity to win the ACC championship first ever in Notre Dame football, being the circumstances this year. So if I do make it to the window, I want to root for my team, so I'm gonna lay the 20. But I'm gonna be optimistic about Book as much as I could have smashed him through the screen a few times last year. But if he gets his head right, he could be an awesome quarterback. He has a skill set, and he's dealing with the right type of coaching staff to get him to the promised land. But it's all up to him in this game. I'm a back him. I liked him long time ago. I liked him when in spring ball when he was going up against I think it was Ghostin or somebody. I liked him back then. Like he came in like a champ as a youngster and was, really made those guys play all the way out. And then when his number got called, he rose to the occasion. So he has a lot of talent. He has it in him. First game, I'm a back Book. I'm gonna lay the points.
Make the fan bet.
Last second there. You sure you want to do that?
I ain't made it to the window yet. I got time, but I'm not gonna sit here and watch the game and not lay a wager on my team when I'm in Vegas. It's kind of like when they play lotto at your office pools or whatever. It's kind of like I don't play the lotto on my own. I wouldn't play it at all. But I'm not going to sit here and let everybody win millions, and I'm the guy that didn't play. So, what I'm saying? So if my team wins and covers a great victory while I'm here, I expect to make some money off of it.
All right, Conor, what about you, bud? Well, you got any kind of thing?
Well, I don't think I've ever told you this, boss. I mean, my dad grew up in L.A., but he always messed with me. And always said, "You're Irish. You got to root for the fighting Irish." So my whole life, I grew up a Notre Dame fan, and I can't lay 23 with Notre Dame. I just can't do it. If I was on a side here, I bet so. 20. I'd take Duke in the 23 or stay off, which I'm staying off. But that's my lean is Duke 23.
Wow,
getting 23 points. I'm a fan as well of Notre Dame, so it's hard for me to lay points like that at home. I know. I had to confess to you. It's like
I don't know. Maybe I look at a first half look. Maybe a first half or something.
First half look. But I'm off.
Come out of the gates quick.
Yeah. So, but I'm off. I got to confess. Confessional there, even though I'm not Catholic.
All right. We'll kick it back to Greg. What do you got on this one, Greg?
Yeah, well, I just say I would be careful with the big number in Notre Dame as well, because I talked about how I kind of like North Carolina laying the big number because they got those playmakers on offense. A lot of their offense is back. Well, Notre Dame we saw last year go to the NFL: Chase Claypool, Cole Kmet, and Chris Fink. So I know Ian Book is back, but those three guys accounted for 23 touchdown catches last year. So I'd be careful with them because you need them to score, right? And I'm not sure that they're going to be able to score enough to cover this kind of a number. Conversely, you do have Duke bringing in a new quarterback, Chase Bryce. Grad transfer comes in from Clemson. But for that reason, I like the under again here. I got it at 53. Chris Rumph, pass rusher for Duke. I think his name is going to get on the scouting radar a lot more this year. He's a projected second-round pick already. He's probably the best player on Duke's roster. They got other experienced edge rushers as well, and Brian Kelly spoke pretty highly of the secondary for Duke as well. So I just don't think there's going to be enough big plays for Notre Dame to cover this number. I would lean to Duke, but my better lean with the new quarterback for Duke and all the changes for Notre Dame as far as their skill players would just be to go under the total. I got under 53.
Yeah. Normally I like Cutcliffe in a dog role as a coach, and he's a quarterback coach anyways, and he knows how to mold these quarterbacks, and he's got a good one from Clemson on the transfer there. But last year was a big hole spot for the quarterback. It was horrific play, like Ian said. We talked about this Wednesday, and I'm going to take a wait and see. It is a big number to put out there, for Notre Dame to put up and get that job done. But
hey, I want to throw a flag on that play too, man. I want to throw a flag on that one, Greg.
Flag.
When have you ever seen Notre Dame struggle at the wide receiver position? We recruit top talent.
You're giving them the benefit out, and it's just going to keep going.
We got stacks of tight ends. We got young guys that run fast. We got everything we need. Like if that's your angle on it, I want to throw a flag and
like I said, I think that Duke on defense has the pass rush in the secondary to kind of negate the big plays in the first place.
I mean that can happen, but if Book finds a lane to throw that ball, oh man! And we've been seeing a lot of drop balls. Like all these games, they be throwing the deep ball, and they've been dropping them and all kind of stuff. These guys we got over here, they don't do that. They're gonna catch some of those deep balls and put some points up. Right. But I just no offense. I know it's your first time on the show, Greg, but it's not until we talk we talk these things out that we gain more confidence in what we going in. And when you said that, now I'm thinking over. Like what you said that, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm over. But yeah, just a little fun stuff though. It's all good. Let's go, Ragoo.
All right, I'm going to segue into the team that's close to my heart. Let's talk about the FSU game here. FSU, where are we going off at? Georgia Tech at Florida State. Florida State. What's the current number on that game, Greg? You got it in front of you. I'm going to say I said earlier.
13.5 for Florida.
It's 13.5. So we're getting real close because early in the week when we talked about this game, I says bet Florida State up until 2 touchdowns and leave it at that. So I think Florida State is gonna come out of the gates pretty fired up in this one. Georgia Tech, now they were horrific. They went to the spread offense. They ran that triple option forever under Paul Johnson, and I think they're going to be better this year because they have 10 returning starters on offense, and I think they had only 3 on defense this year. So defensively, they're going to be up against it. I just think in this case, it's just going to be a game about athleticism with both of these, on both sides of the ball. I think Florida State's going to control the line of scrimmage, blocking and tackling. And I think early on, it might even be a good first half number. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's probably close to 10 if I had to guess. But I would definitely lean Florida State. Get it now if you're going to put it in. I'm on Florida State minus the 12. I bet it early in the week. How about you, Conor?
Yeah, I'd get on if you like Florida State too. I already see a 14 at DraftKings, but yeah, the rest are still hanging 13.5. It's the Norvell. It's era begins today. And with these weird times, it's a total stay-off game for me. I love the Yellow Jackets as a dog, but I got to watch week 1. I think Florida State's better. 18-20 the last 3 years. A bad loss in the Sun Bowl, but that era is gone. Hopefully, everything's flipped. I definitely want to watch. I'd be interested. But it's crept up to 2 touchdowns, like Big Ragoo said. He loved it when it was 12, I think, maybe 12.5 earlier in the week. So that I take the 14. I think the Yellow Jackets will be better this year. Last year was a rough time.
Yeah,
You
God,
know,
they were horrible.
the option and everything. Yeah, the fall time. Yeah. So that'd be my lean, but no play here. I'm going to watch.
I'm making the fan bet. I already made the fan bet early in the week, so
Yeah, you did.
I'm like
Yeah,
me and DJ, like Notre Dame, Florida State. We go back and forth all the time about it. But all right, Greg, what
Are
do
we
you
officializing the fan bet though, Big Ragoo?
Yeah, we gotta make a
are we
fan bet.
official at the fan bet? Is that a thing?
not for big money, half a unit, just to have a little fun, and go back and forth with. But these guys know us in the chat too. They know where we come from, and where we live. So no big deal there. Greg, what do you got, my man? Anything on
Yeah,
Florida
I
State,
mean,
Georgia Tech?
I think you touched on it, Norvell, with his debut at Florida State. We talked a lot about continuity and guys making coaching debuts. Did they have the normal offseason, or were they able to kind of get their whole system in there? But at the same time, Georgia Tech was just a train wreck last year and probably one of the worst teams in the FBS. So I don't know that I'm running to back either side here. Probably just a game I'm looking to watch.
Yeah. All right, up to you, big man.
Well, I'm off on this one. I spoke about this one earlier in the week. It's a matchup that I want to see, just like Greg mentioned and Conor mentioned. I want to see how Georgia bounces back. I want to see how Norvell fits in at Florida State. Like, there's too much guessing to do to really lay anything other than the fan bet because we just don't know. We just don't know what we're going to get out of these two.
All right, so the other mid-afternoon game is a 3:30 game. It's betting number 421, 422, and I have no opinion on this game whatsoever. I know someone in the chat does, but I'm going to kick it off to Conor first because Conor, he's all over the board every game. He can give you some kind of analytic breakdown on it. Conor, what do you got on 421, 422, Texas San Antonio and Texas State?
I wish, Ragoo. Yeah. That was great for you.
I threw you a big
I know. Normally I would. I went through this and I just went pass. So I'm a total pass here, guys. Total pass.
All right. All right. How about you, Greg? You got anything on that game?
Not really. No, I'll be honest. I'm just not that familiar with either program. So I'm going to stay away there.
Hey, I know my man DJ's on this game, so DJ, it's all you, my man.
Oh man, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity to do what I want to do on this game right here because you guys passed. Now, in case you guys didn't know that this UTSA team had 13 players out on COVID early this week. On Tuesday, they tested. They still had 8 more out. They did another testing on Friday, and we don't know what's going on with that. But this Texas State team is pretty good themselves. So where my notes at? The Texas State, this started off at 6 and it went as high as 9.5, right? Now this Texas State team, I do give them a C+ on offense and a C on defense. But in this game right here, if you watched them last week, coach said you haven't seen the best football out of this team right here last week after the game. So he's expecting to be on the high horse. And I had it mixed up Texas State played SMU, right? And covered, and Arkansas State played Memphis and covered. So those are 2 teams that covered. Now this team covered in a pretty strong way and it's built momentum inside their cap. And they're getting Vito back. One of their player Vito because they had 3 players off last week off of COVID. So they're getting 1 or 2 of those guys back. They're fired up. They're behind the coach. The line right here is telling you where it's going. So I'm on this one big time. Texas State minus the 9.5 and the first half minus 6.5. And I lean hard on the under in this one.
Okay. Right. All right. So we got 3 passes. And we got the under in Texas State on DJ. So now we'll kick it into prime time, right? We're going to go to the college game day game. We're going to talk 407, 408, 7:30 start. Clemson at Wake Forest. So Greg, let's start off with you on this one. You have any plays on this particular game?
I don't. But if memory serves me correctly, Clemson was pretty good against the number laying this much last year. So I would not hesitate if you like the Tigers to back them here. But just something. I know it's different this year, but the college game day home team thing is something I always kind of default to. But that doesn't mean I'm running to take Wake either. So, and as I said, Clemson, as these big favorites, did pretty well last year. And like I was talking about earlier, and why I liked North Carolina was because the conference as a whole behind Clemson was pretty open, and I kind of think maybe the Tar Heels are the team that kind of slides in there as that number 2. And so the point being, Clemson was kind of way ahead of everybody. So definitely not a team that I want to step in front of right now. And obviously, this is the last go around for Trevor Lawrence. So you would think he would kind of want to make the most out of it, and there wouldn't be any let up, and which you always have to worry about with these numbers. So I would probably have the slightest of leans to Clemson, but not a play.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Conor? What's your look on this game?
I'm in total agreement with you, Greg. I have a lean to Clemson like last year. I hate laying big numbers, but I did. Clemson covered a lot of them.
Right, yeah.
For me, they were great. Wake Forest can't stop anyone, really. That would be my lean is Clemson, too. Definitely want to watch this game. Wake always, they always have a few games every year they play up. Will it be week 1 here with everything going on? So total watch for me, but that'd be my lean as well. Would be Clemson, but could have that week 1 kind of jitter, laying a big number. So that'd be my lean as well.
Yeah.
Boss, what about you?
It's a total pass for me, man. I'm pretty much only focused in on a few teams that I've already got a little experience with, and this one's I haven't really touched on them, so I'm off. I'm just watching.
I'm going to play this one just out of a pure capping. We're all here capping games. We're all getting down action on games. But if you got to go back and look at this game as a whole, there's a couple key angles that I really like, and it's a huge number, but it's a huge number for a reason. Number one, we know about the transfer that went to Georgia, right? What's the kid's name? I just went blank on the quarterback's name. He left and went to Georgia, and then he opted out. And I don't know what's going to happen with his career come draft day. And then they also lost Sag Surratt, who's their number 1 wide receiver. So they got a lot of.
Jamie Newman is the quarterback.
Yeah, Jamie. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Newman. And you guys know me. Last year, I was all over Wake Forest a lot, especially in first half action. Made a lot of money with Wake last year. Cashed a lot of tickets. This year, it's probably going to be a bet against team for me because they have a lot of inexperience on offense, and defensively, they gave up a lot of points too. So they're going to be really up against it in this spot to kind of hang with Clemson. And Clemson last year, they drubbed them pretty hard, 52-3 last year. So I don't see it getting any better this year. As a matter of fact, I see it getting worse. And Clemson's pretty motivated. The stuff that I read about, and some of the beat writers and some of the interviews I watched from Dabo, this team raring to get on the field, so they're raring to go. I'll probably look at a strong first half bet on this game, and then also I'm not going to be afraid to lay the wood in this game. What's the current number? 34 and a half, something like that. I think they win going away easily. Probably a good first half bet and full game bet. So I'm going to be on the Clemson side here, guys.
Not bad. They were great last year. Covering.
I mean, it's more of a motivational play for me, and then just because of the matchups, I would say more so this game than the more I talk about it, the more I like it. Florida State, we already gave you my look there. I think this is Florida State times 2 for me, so I like Clemson in this spot. And then how about we'll go to the other game. Now this game is another big number, a betting number 417, 418. We're talking UTEP and Texas.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
5.
Huh?
45.
45 now, right? And what's the total?
What's the total on this game is 57.5.
57. So that's
UTEP scored 10 points.
What is that now?
I said not a whole lot of love for that UTEP offense. 45-point underdog, a total of 57.5. Yeah,
that's a monster number. What are you thinking about this game, Greg?
Well, I mean, I think that kind of tells you that this is one of those, and I'm not playing it, but when I look at this, don't kind of have to look at this big of a line with that kind of total and think if you like Texas, you like the over, and if you're going to take the points, you probably like the under, right?
Yeah, you think it correlates that way?
I would think. I mean, it's a 45-point line with a 57.5 total. So,
yeah. How about you, Conor?
I hemmed and hawed about this game a lot, and I put a half unit on UTEP with the 45.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd rather have this than lay it. And I fought over it here all week. But if they could get some possession, maybe Texas is just it's week one. They don't love what they're doing.
Get in, get out.
Yeah, I took the 45.
Yeah.
Unit.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get a tip of the week to those people that's out here. These games with these large spreads like this, when it gets up that high, generally they cash. Generally they're 57. Every now and then, sometimes a couple things happen early. Team not as good as they thought they was, whatever. But for the most part, they'll cash. So if you play those little parlay cards or something like that, these are good fillers right here to add an extra team. Clemson. Texas, don't be afraid to throw those in there in the parlay, but taking them straight up, I'm not laying too much cash on counting on that many touchdowns. But
UTEP can move the ball, eat the clock a little bit, maybe score, a touchdown or two. Because can it be 63-0? Yeah, but can it be 52-10 or 52-17 or something like that?
That's a lot to think about. I just generally take it
I
as
was on them earlier in the week, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to do a full unit, but I'm going to do a half unit. I'm taking the 45. I'm a dog type guy. I'll take 45 points.
That's right. Well, you got to look at it, and 45 might be a good number to take because, the line from a line setter's perspective, they can only put it so high, before everybody go low, and they can only put it so low before everybody go high. So when you look at it from a line setter's perspective,
I agree. I agree.
What's next, Ragoo?
All right, hey, we're gonna go to the other primetime game at. This is a game I like a lot. As a matter of fact, this is my play of the day right here. So you heard it here first. So you guys can hang me out next week if it loses. But if it loses, I don't give a shit. If it wins, I'll take all the celebratory congratulations. So here we go. We ready? We're talking 8 o'clock, 4:05, 4:06, Western Kentucky at Louisville. I'm going to be last to speak on this one. So who wants to take this game first? I'm going to throw it out there. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll just say I don't have a play here, and I don't know where you're going with this, Ragoo, but we talked a little bit about this yesterday. It's an in-state game, and obviously Western Kentucky, the third wheel. You got Louisville and Kentucky, kind of the big in-state rivalry there. But so normally what I look at there is, well, you would think that maybe from a motivational edge, there would be more on the line for the Hilltoppers, and sometimes I look to kind of exploit that, and they're getting 13. But I did not play the game, but I would lean Western Kentucky if I did.
Conor, what you got?
Okay, I got it early in the week at 12. It's 12.5 right now. I went with Louisville. Louisville beat them last year by 17 on a neutral field, and they were up 31-7 at halftime. I know call a lot of guys that are on Western Kentucky this week, the Hilltoppers. Yeah. But I'm gonna lay the 12. I got it at 12. It's 12.5. You might have got it. Ragoo, did you get it at 11.5? Or no?
I'm going to tell you after DJ speaks.
Okay, cool. I got it at 12. It's 12.5. I'm going to ride Louis. I think they can cover this game. A very tough one, and I disagree with a few guys that I know about it, but I think it's a good game. I think more of the same happens, but it's weird week one. That's why some of these games you got to kind of be cautious of and maybe lay off of. But a lot of the team, Louisville comes back. I think they're fired up. A lot of guys come back for Western Kentucky too. I mean, a good amount. So, but I'm laying 12 at Louisville.
Yeah.
Bob?
Two teams that I didn't really look much into right here, but the game kind of wonders me. A lot of guys are on Louisville in this one, and I'm trying to figure it out. This team was a rebuild last year. They did come together towards the end of the year, to have something, but I couldn't even tell you, where their high points of their team are, where they struggle at. I couldn't tell you that neither one, but West Kentucky, you know, streaky team. You never know. You got to come strapped up and ready to play against these kind of guys. You know, it even kind of reflects that in the line because you know if you look at the class of competition, maybe the point spread should be cranked up a little bit more. But being that it's down a little bit is letting you know that Western Kentucky is going to come to play football. So I don't know. I'm willing to learn. You know, I might cross-examine Big Ragoo's pick he's about to put in right here because I'm trying to figure it out. Where did Louisville get this good that everybody's backing them in this first game?
Yeah. Well, no knock on Western Kentucky because I did lose some money with them last year, but they finished up pretty strong last year. They won 4 games, the last 4 games, and I think they won a road game over Arkansas last year, if I remember correctly, and they beat Western Michigan 23-20 in that bowl game. So they finished on a high note. They had a lot of momentum going, but not so fast, my friends. Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Mikhail Cunningham, dynamic quarterback, 22 touchdowns against 5 interceptions, 2,000 yards passing, 480-something yards rushing. They have the best receiver in the ACC, Tutu Atwell, all-conference player, dynamic receiver, set school records, 1,200-plus yards, and he averages like almost 19 yards a catch. And but their Achilles heel to this team is their defense. They've given up a lot of points, you know. So maybe over here, but Western Michigan's a defensive-minded team. But I think there's just too much talent on the offensive side with this Louisville team to kind of negate that Western Kentucky defense. So I think they might wear them out, so to speak. So I think they pull away late. And Satterfield, you talk about what this team, coming together late. They were a 2-win team prior going into last year, and Satterfield kind of flipped the switch. They went 8-5, and they got a bowl win last year. So this is my play today. I got an 11.5 early in the week, so I'm all over this game. Louisville minus the points.
Yeah, some late money. I like that. I like a little money to look forward to in the late part of the day, just in case these other bucks
I
don't
got a
work.
pick in Coastal and Kansas, and that game ain't till what 10
Hold
o'clock.
on now. You know what? Don't forget, we got a short board this week, guys. It's mostly ACC games with a few other games sprinkled in between. Some of the smaller conference play games, and some Big 12 games. A lot of we had a couple of scratches. We had Louisville Baylor. Louisiana Tech Baylor that kind of got 86th, and there was a Northern Illinois Maryland game that got canceled, and of course we know the SMU and Texas Christian game got shut down too. So a smaller board this week, but you know what? We're gonna handicap that game. We're gonna throw this. This is probably gonna be the last game we talk about. It's gonna be the game that Greg was just bringing up. It's gonna be the D-Gen special. It's at 10 o'clock, and it's Coastal Carolina at Kansas. So, Greg, take it away, my man.
All right. So, listen, I know I'm remembering correctly. I believe Kansas has taken the money early. I think this opened about 3.5, 4, and is up closer to a touchdown now. But I don't agree with the move. I'm going to buy back on Coastal Carolina. I obviously think that early money on Kansas is the revenge angle. Coastal won last year 12-7. But when you look more at that game last year, there's no reason to think Coastal can't produce a similar type of game this time because Coastal was really efficient running the football, and they have 4 starters back on their offensive line, and the ball carrier, C.J. Marable, is back as well. He had 148 yards and a score in that game last year, and you have a Kansas defense that is very young with a good deal of turnover. 2 quarterbacks, Bryce Carpenter, Fred Payton, it looks like, for Coastal, could throw some different looks at them. As one other thing on the Coastal rushing, they averaged 195.5 rushing yards per game last year, which was 34th in the country, and Kansas gave up over 225 rushing yards on the ground. So I have no reason to think that Coastal can't produce a similar game to last year. Change at quarterback for Kansas as well. That might make them a little more one-dimensional. Puka Williams, their lead back, is returning. I just think Coastal has the formula again to keep this game low scoring and cover the number and run the ball well. And the problem with Coastal on defense is their secondary, but but I don't think that the change of quarterback, I actually think that's where it kind of is able to kind of hide some of the problems for Coastal on the back four there on defense. So I like Coastal getting almost a touchdown. I got 6.5. I think you can get 7 at some shops. So I would like them here.
That's good information. Solid work too. How about you, Connor? You got a look on this game?
Well, we talked about it on Wednesday night. That was my big dog. Took a money line plus 200. Greg, you talked all about it. Those points you're talking about. They beat him 12-7 last year. What's the difference? The revenge angle. I got it at 7. Yeah, I get most at 6.5 right now. I lean to the under as well. 56. Right. I'm gonna have to throw some on that as well. I already got money line in Coastal Carolina with the 7, but you hit on all those points. The practices with Coastal Carolina, 12-7 win, Kansas new quarterback. I'm not agreeing with the revenge factor. That's the dog of the day for me, Coastal Carolina. Plus 7. You can get it at 6.5 right now. It might drop. I've seen a 6 or 2 around. And if you want, sprinkle a little the money line. It's dropped to 180, but I got it at 200. But yeah, sprinkle a little money line on it.
Like that look. How about you, boss man?
Well, me and you, Big Ragoo, we talked a lot about in the preseason. Dirty Les. I like to call him Dirty Les. Dirty Les Miles over there came over there at Kansas and did pretty well. Surprisingly, I thought they was just washing money or something through the old guy, but the old guy he stood tall last year, so you can't count him out the fight. You know what I'm saying? He still got it. But this Coastal Carolina team, I mean, you talk about a team that has a lot to prove every time they step out. They want to prove that they deserve to be in the Sun Belt. They want to, they didn't do very well in the Sun Belt, but they do dibble in that outside of the Sun Belt pretty good. But this is another one of our favorites. Third-year coach again. I love the third-year coach. This is where it's supposed to be dialed up. This is where your system meets your recruiting, and you got a hand to play now. It's like poker. You really got a hand to play. You waiting on the river and all that good stuff. So if you out there dealing, you got to take Coastal Carolina. Now, would I go as far as going on the money line like Conor? I don't know, because the old Dirty Les, don't let the old man, he gonna throw mud in your face and put a shirt around your head and get you real quick. So you got to be careful with that guy, man. But I'm backing you guys. I'm backing it on the third year coach of Coastal Carolina. I have them winning 2 more wins than they did last year, stepping up a little bit. I think they make tiny progress, but they were a big time ATS favorite last year. I think they were 7-5 ATS. So but that's when people don't know much about you, and you get in there and you kind of surprise them. So I think that the teams are kind of in the Sun Belt, they kind of leveled in on what Coastal Carolina does. So the coach is going to have to come out with some kind of wow factor. He got to do a signature move to be able to succumb that. But I think just growing as a team, if everybody's still in line, I think they do get 2 wins better. But out of conference play right here, right? I think they got a shot.
Yeah. Well, when I first looked at this game, I was thinking revenge. Also, like I see 12-7 in Carolina last year. Then I'm surprised that this team actually made the trip, out west to match up with these guys. Given the circumstances, everything's going on. But everybody's got one out. Like I know everybody in the Big 12 has got one out of conference game, and this is their game. So, and I have to agree totally with the panel here on the under without a doubt. And then maybe I'm gonna follow, just because of the information that came out today. I'm gonna sprinkle something on the money line also. So I'm gonna do the under, and I'm gonna do a little fairy dust on the money line too. But outside of this game here, I think we pretty much covered, because it is a small board. It is, like I say, it's the ACC with a few Big 12 sprinkled games in. Next week we get into SEC action. So once we'll go around the horn one more time. Best bets from each of you. DJ, your best bet of the day.
My best bet is going to be Texas State. I really like that one a lot, but since we playing while since we on while the games are already going, this Arkansas State and Kansas State, they got a 7-7 or 6-7 right now, but they already put some points up. But I'm in trouble over here at Appalachian State because Charlotte's in the red zone right now. So It's going to be a long day, but I think it all straightens out. But my best bet is going to be Texas State at the end of the day. And before that, it was the over in this Arkansas State, Kansas State.
How about you, Conor? What's your best bet?
I'm going to still roll with Coastal Carolina. I liked the Raging Cajuns getting 13.5. Kind of a split there, but Coastal Carolina, because I'm going to take some on that under as well. I got it 7. We'll sprinkle on the money line, the under. I got a half unit on UTEP plus 45, Louisville minus 12, and the Raging Cajuns plus 13.5. And I got a game. You guys did you have any lean here on South Alabama getting 10.5? I mean, the game doesn't start till 5. I didn't dig deep into it, but I didn't know if you guys looked at it at all.
I was off of that game.
We had a good win last week. I don't know how Tulane. I'm going to dig deep into that game. I'm going to post it on Twitter. I might take that 10.5 with South Alabama at home. I think they're improved. I watched some of the game, but I'm going to look into that. That's the lean that I'm kind of liking. So, but those are my plays.
How about you, Greg? What's your best bet of the day?
Yeah, well, I guess it's easy to say that Iowa State under against Louisiana Lafayette's off to a good start. But I would probably just, given that I got the agreement across the board here on Coastal, I'll go with them as well, getting the points close to a touchdown. Again, I just don't buy the revenge angle enough. I think there was enough there for Coastal, as I said in my handicap, that it's kind of replicable. So I like Coastal.
Yeah, I love the breakdown you put together in that game too. So, all right, so I guess that's going to be it for us today, guys. So for DJ Big Boss, you can follow him at DJ Big Boss on Twitter, at Conor Mac Picks on Twitter. Follow him, and then our invited guests, and we hope to see you. Greg,
appreciate you guys
at Undercover Greg on Twitter, and of course myself at Big Ragoo 62. For all of us. DJ, hit the button after the show is over. We're going to check it out and come back. We'll be back Wednesday night for the college early look games picks. Oddcast Wednesday night.